Hi, I'm going to start this video by stating the blindingly obvious. Most organisations have values, don't they? They've invested time and effort, maybe some money, in creating values, and many of them will create little descriptors or maybe lists of behaviours to exemplify what those values look like in reality on the ground at the sharp end, which is great. But if you go into organisations and you talk to people about values and the values process, you quite often get some negative pushback. So people will say things like, yeah, we did the values thing, but it hasn't made any difference. Nothing's changed. And I've even had people say, yeah, I remember we did do some values stuff, but to be honest, I can't even remember what they are. And so what we're trying to do, I guess, is to get people not just to know about the values, but to actually own them. If you like, they become their values, if at least in the workplace. And a lovely analogy that is used in social complexity theory is if I give you a leaflet about the flu, you know about the flu. What I'm trying to get you to do is to catch it. And so there's a huge difference between knowing about something and believing in it. Okay, now I don't have time to go into all the complexity of how you do that. But what we can do is we can look at how you stuff it up. And there's three significant groups in this. One is senior leaders. Now, senior leaders, and we talk about this on senior leadership training, it's quite hard for them to directly influence positive culture behaviours on the ground. But man, can they mess it up. And just last week I was talking to somebody who, in an organisation, I know this person personally, it's not a client, and they were apoplectic about a senior leader who had done something. Actually, he'd not done something that he should have done. And in this guy's view, that had completely undermined the whole values process that they'd just been through and just showed that that values thing was just for show. And the interesting thing is that this guy had never met the senior leader. He just heard about this. That was enough. So that viral impact, particularly around culture behaviours and values-driven culture behaviours, is something that senior leaders need to be really careful about. Now, the other group is at the other end, and that is the leaders on the ground, the team leaders, the supervisors, these kind of people. Now, yep, they need to model those behaviours, absolutely. But the other thing they need to do is to pick people up when those people are not aligned with the values. And I'm making that sound a lot easier than it is, because these supervisors and team leaders are often new to leadership, inexperienced. They can sometimes be leading people who are older and more experienced than they are. They are quite often promoted from within the team. And these are all reasons why that is quite a challenging thing to ask. And it's something that, again, we talk about on team leadership workshops. And we get this phrase about act early and calm, not late and angry. So these little informal reminders constantly are one of the big tricks in this process. Okay, now the third group are interesting. You could call them influencers, I guess, if you use today's language. But these are leaders without a badge, people who have influence, people who other people listen to and follow and this kind of stuff. And these people are really significant when it comes to implementing something, but they're particularly significant if they're on the other side of the fence, if you want to look at it that way. So these are disruptors. They're people who, criticize and undermine things. And this is a really important group. And I think in teams, when you've got these people, the next layer of leadership really needs to identify and deal with those people, because they can be really intimidating and really undermining for those team leaders on the ground. Yes, I'd be really interested to hear what you think, and particularly if you've put a values process into place and it's gone really well, it'd be really good to get some insights into what you think the key success factors were within that.